You're with us this evening on a breath of fresh footy, the rivals. What a segment. Always a pleasure to have you here, Pete. But what a round. I can't believe what I saw. I can't believe the soccer or the footy that I saw over the weekend. And just before I press the record button, we were talking about how COVID is really influencing this season. Before I get your thoughts on that, have a little think of what you'd like to talk about with that COVID thing. I think it's really impacting teams, and that's why we're seeing the results we have. Remember to subscribe to A Breath of Fresh Footy. I'm very happy with my Arsenal, so I've got them there. Also, shout out to my friends who've got me these Manchester City tops. I'm a Melbourne City fan. Have to love this Manchester City for saving our club, you know, putting all their resources into it. Great to be able to wear it. And we thought that was a shock result during the week with their 1-1 draw. And we were thinking, wow, that's a big result for Leeds. But boy, oh boy, there was some real corkers in there, weren't there, Pete?
Look, it was beyond corkers. This match day 4 was, you know, there was 41 goals scored throughout this weekend. Now, I think it was match day 2 where there was 44 goals, which was the record. 41 goals scored this weekend, thanks to the very last 2 games. Phenomenal stuff. Absolutely phenomenal stuff. Makes you want to cry. And, you know, as you know, and people out there know that I follow Manchester United, have done for quite a while. The amazing thing, it took me until about 3 o'clock this afternoon to get over it, just to calm down a bit. You know, I was numb. I was actually absolutely numb with Manchester United. But let's not take it away from Tottenham. But let's have a look. I mean, Aston Villa, you know, put 7 past Liverpool. You talk about COVID-19, Mane, he got diagnosed. They said he would miss the Aston Villa game. He missed it. Right. But I'm going to digress and come back. Some news this morning. Napoli were supposed to play Juventus last night, and they couldn't even field a side because of COVID-19. So that's going to probably end up being, it's been postponed. Juventus will win that game 3-0. But that's the state. You know, you go back to when Tottenham in the Carabao Cup, they went to play Leyton Orient and they couldn't field the side. So automatically they win 3-0 to go through to the 4th round. These are the days. This is what we're currently facing right now. Clubs, you're going to see a lot more of it. I mean, poor Pogba, he had coronavirus, you know, back just before the season started. So it's going to happen.
Unbelievable things, you know. And if you haven't got the most up-to-date information, always remember to subscribe at The Net with Pete. Remember to do that on Facebook. That's where you'll get all this information that you've just heard, but even in more detail. And I agree with you. It's just really, really, really scary. But I want to go back to the United game. We can talk about the Arsenal one later. It was a very, actually, victory. I don't have really much to say about it, but we'll get to it.
Actually, no. Can I just say one thing? Pepe's goal in the 69th minute was probably one of the best individual goals I've seen in a long time. I have to say that. It was a spectacular goal. And I must admit, because I know at The Net, I do my goal of the week. And he was in the top. But the guy I gave it to was Oriol Romeo from Southampton. That volley was superb.
Yeah, absolutely. I have to. Pepe was right up there. And he had a huge influence in that game because he changed the setup of it. And it meant that Willian was able to go right into the midfield, and then Aubameyang was at the front. So Pepe was on the right-hand side, Aubameyang in the middle, and then I can't remember who was on the left. Who was on the left? Saka was on the left.
Yeah.
And just really,
He was good for you guys.
Very good. I mean, and my point of view is why Liverpool might have really struggled was, I reckon, well, this is my theory, we were pretty tired in that Sheffield United game, right? But we played them twice at Anfield. I reckon we gave them a real run for their money. It's pretty physical games, the Carabao Cup. and the EPL game. And I mean, even though it seemed easy on the scoreline, 3-1 in that EPL game against Liverpool, they had to work really hard to kick that third goal. So we're in the game the whole time. I reckon we absolutely tired them out. And this is the depth of squad thing that I'm talking about, the depth of your squad. How can you cope with the virus? I think that led to the result.
And I've got a question for you. And while I was actually, excuse me, while I was doing my podcast today, I was actually just having a look, and I thought about Aubameyang, and the question that I've got: who would fill his spot?
Aubameyang's?
Yeah, if he got injured,
mm-hmm.
and let's say he was out for a month,
mm-hmm.
right? And so he misses, say, about 6-7 games. Who's there to replace him?
I reckon they'd have to go Lacazette at the moment. It doesn't help. It's not great. But then what they would do is I think they'd have a Lacazette, Joe Willock, and Eddie Nketiah. So you rotate those three players so that they would be fresh every now and again. So they would do that. I liked what they played in that Sheffield United game in the second half. I think having Pepe on that right-hand side is a huge, huge incentive for the team to be able to be much more powerful up forward, much more creative. That's the thing we lacked in the first half, was that sort of creativity. And he brings it in spades. But, I've just heard that on the grapevine, listening to a few of the podcasts with Arsenal, that they've got rid of Guendouzi on a loan with no pay, right? So they've cleared his spot. So obviously something must be happening, because why is Arsenal giving away a player for a year without a loan fee, just throwing them to Berlin?
Well, I mean, they've only got tonight out time, and that's it.
But something's happening, because no team gives away a player on loan without a loan fee unless they're filling a spot. And of course, he's a midfielder, so I'm really intrigued to see what happens. But
can I just say as well, the actual McGoldrick for Sheffield United, that goal he scored, I tell you what, that wiped your defence.
Crazy goal.
That was a beautiful goal, and it was placed. He just touched the ball. It just floated straight through two defenders. It was a great goal.
Well, the thing was, I couldn't criticise. I thought that we were slow in that 5 minutes before in that play. But the way that the defence set up, I couldn't criticise anybody. It didn't look particularly poor. Do you know what I mean? It was just a fantastic goal. That's a way to get through a defence. And, I mean, Aston Villa did it time and time again against Liverpool. But I want to go back to the Man United game. And I know that it's not...
No, and look, and that's fine, because I'm going to rip through it.
Yeah.
Absolutely rip through it, because it was horrid.
And I want to go back there because I think there's a huge issue that I've seen. There's definitely your defence, but I think it's the fact you have no crowd there. I mean, in my lifetime, have never seen United leak 9 goals. I think it's 9 goals in 2 games of footy. At one stage it was 8 in 1.5 games. I mean, that is a disaster for the beginning of a season.
Oh, look, it is. And look, at the start of a new season, you want to win as many games as you can. In your first 5 games of the season, you want to pull out 5 out of 5. If you can't do that, at least get 4. That's what you want to look at and do. I've got to say to you this: if there is one thing that is missing in Manchester United, and you know what? We talk about defense shortly. We'll talk about the midfielders shortly. We'll talk about that they can't finish. There is no leadership.
Yeah.
No leadership on the field whatsoever.
I agree. And Patrice Evra was right on it with his commentating. Sherwood was all over it. Michael Owen. It's this lack of leaders.
Yeah. Did you see Patrice Evra after the game turned around to the executives at Sky and goes, "I don't want to call any more Manchester United games. It's an embarrassment." And it is embarrassment. And Manchester United are playing boring football.
Yeah. Well, you could have had the potential of great footy that day, but the defensive errors absolutely killed you. To have a penalty within the first minute of the game and
Oh
then
yeah.
2 goals in that time afterwards within 5 minutes.
Yeah, it was 8 minutes for 3 goals. But that I tell you what, Maguire, he needs to stand up. He needs to apologise to every Manchester United fan. What he did down the back, he made 3 massive fundamental mistakes in 3 minutes. And that last one, to pull Luke Shaw by the arm and drag him down, gifted Tottenham that goal.
But he's done it countless times. There's like where there's 4 images of like with Wan-Bissaka and co where he does that thing. And it's like, why are you doing that? You're just taking a player out of it. But the scary thing with Everest's comment was that he based that comment because he was never a huge fan of Sanchez when he was at the club, but he based it on that because Alexis thought that Arsenal was in trouble, right? He went to one training session, and this is what he said. And we went.
Look, exactly.
And he just said, "I want to get out of there." And he realised because there's more leadership at Arsenal where we've been struggling than there was at United. It's a huge problem. And Owen was right on the money, I feel. When he was talking about the club, he's like, okay, so you've got great players like Pogba, you know, and co, who are very, very talented, but they're not in your face. And what he was mentioning was that that's what, you know, in the documentary that Spurs did, what did Mourinho want them to do? He wanted them to be, let's unquote, C-bomb. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to say it on but that's what he wanted them to be. And they were bullish against you guys, you know? They made Manchester United look soft. No wonder why Evra and Keane have been so peeved throughout this whole 8 years, because they based that club and they created this culture of being the bully, you know, being strong, you know?
Look, and I totally understand what you're saying. I mean, at the end of the day, they've got a front 3 at the moment. They can't even put a ball in the bloody back of the net. They can't do it. You know, they can't finish. If you look at why the hell did Pogba start today? And that is a massive question. Donny van der Beek, his agent is now contacting Manchester United and saying, how come this kid's not getting a start from the beginning? What's going on? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's going to find himself out of a job very soon. Because you know what? Yeah, look, I know we talk about it starts at the top, it works its way down. You got the board of Manchester United. They've got no frigging idea. Right. You put all that together, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has put a team. He's the one that puts the team on the field.
Yeah.
To put Pogba out there was a joke. Is an absolute joke. I'm just, that guy is supposed to be worth £80 million. And I can tell you right now, there's probably a teenager sitting out the back who's worth 10 million, if that. That's better than Pogba at the moment.
You guys could have even David Luiz and it would be better than anybody in that team at the moment. That's the scary thing. We paid $7 million for David Luiz. He would be much better at United than anybody in your defence or even in that midfield. I'd just stick him in the midfield because at least he would do something. You know, no, seriously, he would actually clear the ball, which is what you need to do. And you guys don't do that, which is really scary. There's £160 million with him and Maguire that have been utterly useless. You know what I mean? And Lindelof is the one that gets hammered, and rightly so, because he's shocking. But I mean, everybody's having a go now at De Gea for not being able to save the ball. What is he supposed to do when there is nothing in front of him? It's like it's like you're on a boat, right? And you're supposed to have a sail. So De Gea's the sail, trying to get them to stop the ball getting into the goal, but he's got no boat that he can sail on because the boat is completely broken. What's he going to do?
Look, absolutely. Look, as we speak, actually, Tallies, as of 10 minutes ago, has just driven through the gates of Manchester United.
Okay, yeah.
Right, and that's through Josh GI on Twitter. He's actually a sports writer over in the UK.
Yeah.
Which is good. But you know what? Look, all the shit going on with Man United at the moment, don't take it away. Tottenham were too quick. Tottenham, they look good. And I must admit, and and they've got Gareth Bale to come back, and he'll be playing. He'll be playing their next game. But what really astounds me at the moment, we're into match day 4, and yeah, Man U's only played 3 games, and Man U are sitting 16th on the ladder.
Unbelievable.
Absolutely horrible. But then again, look at Manchester City; they're 14th.
But yet they haven't had the thing is with them, they've actually played Leeds, who are 5th at the moment. They didn't lose. I mean, they've drawn a couple. I mean, the Everton game, Everton's killing it at the moment. I mean, there's a whole lot of reasons why. They've got so many injuries, and people with COVID, in the city.
Oh, look,
there's so much potential there to come back,
Yeah, but as we talk about depth.
Yeah.
That's the thing. What happens? Okay, for example, and I know they mentioned this morning. For example, if Marcus Rashford got an injury, who's there to pick up for him? No one. No one. They're going to have to go down to the youth academy and bring some young kid up. So this is part of the process that we're looking at. You and I, we talk about the depth. The depth of a squad means everything. If you lose 1 or 2 players, have you got players there that can jump up and actually start to play? Now, I can almost guarantee that after this game today, you will start to see Donny van der Beek on the field in the starting 11.
Oh, he better be.
He has to. He just has to, because one of the questions I was actually just having to read off today is from his agent about a release clause. He's only just signed. Now the thing is, this release clause, if he doesn't get in there, only needs to wake the fuck up. If he doesn't get in there, I'll tell you, and this is, there's just something about him. Manchester United, I believe they would have to be, out of all the teams in the EPL now, the most unwatchable team.
Yep, I agree.
The most unwatchable team. Yep. And there that's all I can say to it. And it's just like, you've got a board that doesn't care. You've got owners who just want money out of the club. I mean, don't forget, if they go through this whole season and no fans coming to the ground at all, which is most likely going to happen.
Absolutely.
Right. There's going to be a handful of clubs that will be in dire straits financially. One of those clubs is Manchester United.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because of the amount of money that has been taken out by the Glazers.
Yeah.
And that's $1 billion in the last 12 months. And that's to fund their own sporting achievements and whatever that they're doing over in the US. Now, you can see the dysfunctional structure at Man United at the moment. For the first time today, I saw Ole Gunnar Solskjaer actually stand on the sidelines when they're down 4-1. Well, what's that about? And it's just, it's interesting. And I was just listening to what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had to say after the game. And he's disappointed. It's his biggest loss of his managerial career and everything. And it's like, well, what are you going to do? He needs to get some pretty broad shoulders, because mark my word, the next game that Man U play, because there's a 2-week break now, the next game they play is up against Newcastle.
Oh, dear.
Right. And look at Alan St. Maximin. Now, the goal that he pulled, I mean, that was a beautiful individual goal in the 14th minute for Newcastle. But I tell you what, and Callum Wilson, man, you were going to be in trouble.
Oh, it's scary times.
Yeah.
I've seen Arsenal when we've been battered, right? But I've never seen us like this. I mean, everybody had a go at us with Emery, Oh,
yeah.
We're a club in turmoil, blah, blah, this, blah, blah, that. The funny thing is, even though I saw us in turmoil and I thought we were much worse than you guys, the way that we were playing, we actually have more quality in our squad, for sure. I feel with our players being in form, we've got getting proper defenders now into the team. We've got a great strike force. I mean, It's really, really sad
Yeah.
for me to
Uh,
see what you guys are doing. And the fact that you're leaking so many goals at Old Trafford within 3 rounds against, I don't think, particularly fantastic. Tottenham's okay. They played okay. I don't think they should have won 6-1 though on the
oh
day.
no, look, I do. I do.
Okay.
The reason why, I think when you look at Harry Kane, Son Heung-min are playing extraordinary football. They read each other so well. Give Gareth Bale a few matches when he comes into the side. You know, they're gonna be up there, put it that way. And I really honestly think they're going to be up there. If you look at what James Rodriguez is doing with Everton,
Oh, I love that.
mark my words, Bale's going to do the same, but with Tottenham.
Could, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Could,
That's what I see. And when I look at James, and it's like, whoa, you know, he's going in. As I said, you know, up front, it's just Everton are doing the right things. Now, when you look at what happened to Liverpool on the other side of the Mersey, you got Everton one side, you got Liverpool on the other, and I tell you what, good night, mother.
That's going to be a tough game because they play them next. I think it's the next round.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, match day 5. So you got Everton are playing Liverpool. That's going to be an absolute cracking game.
Wait for that game. It's going to be so awesome.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have got Manchester City.
I know. Now, why I'm wearing this.
Yeah. Well, the actual funny thing about that is that can go either way. It can go either way, and the reason why I see that, after the 5-2 thumping to Manchester City, they came back and only got a 1-1 draw with Leeds.
Yeah.
Now, I can tell you right now, Pep Guardiola, I reckon he'll be gone this year. I reckon he'll leave Manchester City.
And I reckon we've got a great chance against them because when we played them in the FA Cup, Arteta absolutely bossed him in that game. That should have been a 3-0, 4-0 game.
Yeah.
Absolutely bossed them that game. And what I like about it, I actually see us doing really well this year. If we keep on doing what we're doing and we start playing even better than what we have, that's the thing. I don't think we've played particularly fantastic. But the one thing that I give Arteta and what he's done fantastically well at Arsenal is we're extremely structured. So even when we play poorly, teams find it really hard to break our defence. I mean, the Sheffield United goal was an absolutely quality goal, but you cannot dispute the structure that was around that goal.
Oh, look, absolutely not. But I tell you what, there's one team that I looked at over the weekend, and I thought, well, these guys have really turned it on, and it was the first game, Chelsea. Even though they played Crystal Palace, I was actually impressed. Their defense held tight. And don't forget, these guys have only just come together. And the scary thing about it, I tell you what, if they really get it together, Ben Chilwell, the way he played that game, instrumental.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I look at that and just think, you know what, Chelsea, I see Chelsea and Arsenal as sleeping underdogs at the moment. They're just sleeping and they're just because they're not making big statements. Now, even though, especially you guys, you know, when I say big statements, right, you won 2-1, right? It's not like Aston Villa. It's, you know, it's not these massive scores, but you guys just plug around. See, a win's a win. You win by a goal, you win. You get 3 points. That's all that matters. Yeah. You know, what I'm loving with all the football at the moment, there's not a lot of draws.
No.
Which is fantastic. And there's lots of scores. Like I said, 41 goals scored over the weekend. I mean, that's phenomenal. That's great. That's what the fans want to see. And especially now that they're going back into lockdown over there. You know, in Melbourne, we're still in lockdown. Yeah. Hey, guess what? It's fantastic to wake up and actually see those games.
Absolutely. But really it's like the south of England. It's like London town at the moment is ruling the EPL, except for Everton, who's representing the north.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
Normally the case. I don't remember a season in a long time where I've seen both Manchester teams below the top 10.
Yeah, I mean,
I
look.
remember a season in the last 10 years when that's happened.
Well, yeah. Oh, look, absolutely. I look at it and just Manchester United will they'll finish from 12 downwards. That's what I see. 12 downwards. They won't even get to the round of 16 in the Champions League. Not a chance in hell. It's just embarrassing. And and I feel for the players in the past that have come through and they've played it. I mean, look, I know Manchester United used to be a great club. It used to be a fantastic club and everyone just got behind the players. Now, ever since the Glazers bought the club, they don't spend the money. The board aren't backing the managers. There's been a lot of right across the board. You look from when David Moyes took over from Sir Alex Ferguson to Louis van Gaal to Jose Mourinho, it's a mess.
Well, it's panic buying, isn't it? That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
All panic buying. And there's nothing that actually shows that they're trying to strengthen the club in any way. It's like, oh, we've got to get a player because it's Man United so that we can sell out.
Yeah.
I mean, the two people, what is it? Cavani's linked to you guys. He's probably going to, Edison Cavani from PSG. He's coming over, isn't he, as well?
Look, I mean, okay. Tellers, Cavani. Yeah, okay. Those two guys come in. If anything for Cavani, you know what? He's 33. I'd like to see him come in. Ollie turn around and say, right, you're going to lead this club for the next 12 months, or there's an extra 12 months if you want it. I want you to be the leader on the field. Take that experience and let's work together and let's lead this team. Because at the moment, our captain, Harry Maguire, mate, he should be dropped. He should be dropped for a game or two.
You know what I was thinking just before? What a ridiculous thing I thought. Just put on Ole. Just put him on. Just put him on the field. He would do a better job because he'd actually go in hard. He'd go in so hard.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's heart and soul of the club. No, but it's the heart and soul of the club. He was there where they were really good. He went in hard. He was a very good player. I mean, he wasn't like the superstar. But Man United don't need superstars. They have plenty of good players.
They need leadership. They need someone. See, one of the best leaders of the club was Roy Keane. Roy Keane was instrumental. He drove that back line and he was a powerhouse. And you know what? When he called, they listened. And he even went up. He would go up. He would push someone and he would just look at him and say, come on, get up.
Yeah.
None of this pussyfooting around. Yeah. He had balls.
Yeah.
Roy Keane had balls and he did it well.
Yeah.
I tell you what, Harry Maguire's he's piss weak.
Absolutely.
And what he did this morning, that header, a defensive header back to the keeper, that goes all wrong. Shaw's there trying to clean up. And then he pulls him away to try and clean up his own mess. Thank you very much. I'll score.
I couldn't believe it. This header, it's like it didn't even touch him. It's like it hit his head and the ball decided to just stop. Didn't want to go anywhere. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh, why isn't De Gea moving? And when I saw the replay, there's no chance in hell he would have been able to get to that ball. Because that little power on the ball. Seriously, my 75-year-old mother, if a ball hit her head at that speed, it would have travelled further. It would have travelled further than Harry Maguire's, and my mother is 5'2".
Yeah.
No, I'm serious though.
Oh no, but Matty, I believe you, mate. Because at the end, at the end of the day, what it all comes down to, the morale of the club is shocking. That's just where it is.
Yeah.
Now, the morale of the club. So Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has to take responsibility here.
Yeah.
To lift morale.
Yeah.
He just does. He's the manager, for Christ's sake. He's got to take responsibility. Why there's no leadership on the field whatsoever, that's beyond me. That's beyond me.
Yeah, and this is the thing, you know, when Luke Shaw was saying that, like, in the back room, everybody's down. They're expecting to get transfers. When your players are saying that they're expecting transfers to boost your team up, you know you're in a lot of trouble, because there should be a cohesion already within a team. You know what I mean? And all the transfer does is just fix those little gaps. That's the whole point.
Yeah, I mean, that's right. I mean, we spoke about those gaps that needed to be fixed.
Yeah.
You know, we wanted a centre back. We wanted the left winger. We wanted we wanted another striker to give depth up forward.
Yep.
So then all of a sudden you can just fill those spots. But this crap with Jadon Sancho, far out, brother.
Rubbish, isn't it?
It's so rubbish.
Yeah.
It is just bloody ridiculous that they wasted so much time on Jadon Sancho for a start. Absolute garbage.
I can't believe it. It's just such rubbish, because, you know, I don't think we've had because I want to compare. I don't think we've had a particularly great transfer, but getting Willian for free is brilliant, because he averages 10 goals a game. You add another 10 goals with Pepe, that's 20 goals in the team. You know what I mean?
That's right.
You can see that there's a reason why he's there, and he wants him to play this makeshift 10. But actually seeing the play, what he was trying to do over the weekend when they put Pepe in there, because they want Pepe to really knuckle down and nail it, right? When you see that dynamite 3 at the front there with Willian just at the back in the midfield, you can see why they've got it. There's a reason with that transfer. When I hear Donny Van der Beek, I think the guy is a great player, but you don't need to strengthen in that spot. This is not a spot that you need to strengthen.
No, that's right. But actually, see, let's go back when Zlatan Ibrahimovic came to United just for that one season. And when he played, he was phenomenal. Unfortunately, he did his knee.
Yeah.
And now he's at AC Milan, of all places. You know, that guy was amazing. And you know what? If Cavani does come across, you know, I want him to do the same.
Yeah.
Give these young kids something to achieve. Give them something to go for. I mean, far out.
You need to play Mata with him as well. Do you know what I mean? Mata, you know, Cavani, or if you get that partnership and things working together, that's a lot of experience. And that's what I think you guys are really lacking, actually. You don't need super players.
That's right. And that's what we're saying. That's the leadership, though, Matty. And that's what we're talking about. There's no leadership. With experience comes leadership. It just does. You know, you look at the likes of Harry Kane's, you look at Jamie Vardy's, you know, you look at these guys who they know how to bring a team together. You know what? United would have been better off chasing Harry Kane instead of Jadon Sancho and everybody else, and just loved 150 million in Tottenham's pocket. They still wouldn't have taken it. But I would tell you what, Harry Kane would have been a hell of a lot better than throwing Jadon Sancho into the mix.
Could have got Vardy.
Look, absolutely.
You could have even got Lacazette off us, and it would have been much better, because he cost as much. Do you know what I mean? Like, because they go hard. I mean, Lacazette might not be the most brilliant player in the world, but he goes in hard. That's what you need. You have a hard nut like that as your number 9. It takes all the pressure off Pogba. It actually takes all that pressure off, and he can do what he needs to do, because he knows that he's got somebody around him. It's like Ozil in the team. Why he doesn't fit in is that at the moment, we don't have that real hard nut like that's up the top there that can really allow him to not have to defend. When we were really cooking, and when I think Arsenal should have won that premiership, and I've said to you before, it's when him and Sanchez were together. Ozil and Sanchez, phenomenal combination, because Sanchez went really hard at the ball. But, you know, this is the problem. Sanchez, he didn't have an Ozil-type player at Man United when he was there, and it killed him. It absolutely killed him, because they need that partnership. You need somebody that can roam around. And then Sanchez will do all the dog moves to try and create the space so that the creative number 10 can pass the ball to you. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I mean, Sanchez at Man United, I tell you what, anybody in the world would have loved to been paid what he was getting paid, 360,000 a week, to actually sit on the bench and just watch games of football. That's all he did. You know, because that's the thing, and it's just, you're dead right, Matty, because you've got to team the people up in the right positions with the right players. So when they feed that ball in, they can do what they need to do, then feed it back out again.
Yep.
You know, but look, and that's what they're just lacking at the moment. And it's hey, you know what? I honestly look at it and I just feel it's going to be a horror year for Man United. They, as I said, they'll finish in the bottom half of the table, right? They won't even get to the round of 16 in the Champions League. In fact, there will be no silverware. Will Solskjaer be there at the end of the year?
No.
Well, you know he won't, because they're going to make a scapegoat out of him.
Yeah.
There's no more money for the Glazers to take out of the club.
Yeah.
Right. And how far, and here's a question for you, how far can the Glazers go? Because see, what happens if no one goes into the stadiums by the end of the year,
Mm-hmm.
Glazers decide to take money out. Hey, question is, what would happen if Manchester United had to go bankrupt? Think of that.
Well, I see warning signs, and
Yeah.
the warning signs that I see was that actually Old Trafford really needs a lot of maintenance, doesn't it? You know, it needs a lot.
Well, it does.
Up in the stands, and when I saw a picture of it, because I went over there in 2009, it was magnificent. You know, the stadium, phenomenal. But there's lots of issues with it at the moment. They need to fix seats up. There's been hose pipes that have busted in there. There's just tear and tear in that
absolutely
in that stadium, and it's Britain's biggest stadium basically. If it's 85,000.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, and when you look at it from that perspective, the owners who have taken $1 billion out of the club to fund whatever they want to fund back home in the US, there's nothing there. There's no funds to even change a fucking tap.
But the thing is, right, if they don't get results, are you going to see banners come up from supporters? You're going to see protests and this and that. I remember when we were talking a couple of weeks ago, at the moment, if United kept going the way that they were, playing really boring football, you know, but they weren't going to get smacked around like this result, there wouldn't have been anything done because the fans wouldn't feel like they had anything to latch onto. But a result like this, this is the ammunition they need to bring the banners out, protest, stop buying merchandise, actually say things to the board, to the place, like what we had outside the Emirates. I don't think it was a great move to treat Arsene Wenger the way that we did. But there was a reason why people were really angry, because supporters, you know.
Yeah. Oh, look, absolutely. I mean, look, there's a lot of people out there. Look, Ed Woodward, it was only yesterday that they've already increased the security around his home.
Yeah.
Right. And that was before this game. Yeah. Right. Because as you know, it was back in January, there was 20 balaclava clad supporters who went around and, did some damage, and it's not the right thing to do.
No.
At all, but it just goes to show the love of the game to a lot of supporters. And there's a lot of these guys out there, they live, they breathe, everything is Man U. If you walk down the street and said you follow Liverpool, they'd probably want to take you out the back and throttle you and put you in an ambulance. It's plain and simple. So, and I look at all that, and so with Ed Woodward doing that. But even when they showed him in the stands this morning, and it was actually really interesting because I think it was 4-1 and he's squirming in his seat.
Yeah, he had to go on. Like, I watched the game and he was squirming, and then he went on his phone because he couldn't cope.
That's correct.
He knew that all of the attention was going to be on him, and it was. So all the cameras were always on him. But the person I felt most sorry for, and look, he might have made the wrong decisions in the game, but Ole Gunnar, Solskjaer, he really looked like he was about to cry. He was devastated. And I mean, sure, he might have made the wrong moves, but I'm sorry, those defensive errors. What is this?
The players do need to take responsibility.
Yeah.
You know, Harry Maguire is experienced enough to take that responsibility and come out, you know, and just say, hey, to all my fans, to all the United fans, I'm so sorry, I messed up.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he won't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, that's the thing. Where's the responsibility from any of these players?
Yeah.
The only time I see where a little bit of excitement's come on so far is when Donny van der Beek's come on. He's the only one that's got a bit of excitement at the moment.
Oh, it's so sad. It's so sad. And, you know, again, why do we call this show The Rivals? It's because our teams, and of course, Man City, I've got here now. So 3 teams, we all like to, you know, these are big, big, big rivalries, right?
Oh, yeah.
Seeing United the way that it is, a lot of my United fans are going, oh, no, you're just taking the piss out of us that you're feeling sorry. It's like, no, I genuinely am. Because that's what makes the EPL, are these big clubs. And if they're not featuring for title races, I mean, it's a huge problem. You know what I mean? It was sad when Liverpool wasn't there, even though you guys would have loved seeing Liverpool down in the dumps. You lose that atmosphere. That's what creates this atmosphere with the rivalries, you know? That is all of this amazing football to happen. And the game goes up a notch when it's the rival derbies, derbies.
That's right.
That's where the game comes up.
Look, I can tell you right now, Man U at the moment can play anybody. It doesn't matter, any rivalry or whatever, and they're just going to get absolutely thumped.
Yeah.
You know, there's no two bits about that. I honestly do look at it, for example. Let's look at it. We look at the frustrations that boil over from a player. Now, Anthony Martial got sent off for a red this morning.
Yeah.
I can tell you right now, both players should have just received a yellow.
Yep.
Right? For him to be sent off was just a friggin' joke.
Yep.
You know, but then he shouldn't have reacted. He shouldn't have done anything back, you know, but then.
Look, my thoughts are on it. If you're going to give one, both did the exact same thing. That's right. Impact. So you give either both of them reds, which is a bit extreme, but that's fair because
it's spot on. Or give them both a yellow,
and that's it.
Yeah,
and I think if what Martial's done is what I think is completely against the law, you're not allowed to touch the head. That's red. Give the other guy a red too.
Exactly. Because I mean, he hit him in the fucking jaw with his elbow.
Hit him right here.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
Hard. I totally agree.
But this also shows the frustration of a team. It shows that they're not joined together as one.
No.
You've got 11 separate people on a pitch. You know, Manchester United were lucky to get into 3rd spot last season.
They did a great.
The only reason they got there was because of Fernandes.
Absolutely.
There's no doubt about that. Now, you know, this is the thing. You know, we've played 4 matches, or you know,
5, isn't it? 5 with the Carabao, or 6 now with the Carabao Cup.
Yeah. Look, exactly. And the thing is, you know, you start to put it all together, and you look at it. I just can't see any way out. Well, I just can't.
You have a fundamental problem with the team. You can't play Fernandes with Pogba together. It just doesn't work, and it's proven the last 10 games that you've played. They're great players, but they're too similar. They don't work.
But this is the thing. This is, as I said, take Pogba out, put Donny van der Beek in there, right? Get this kid to start to play a little bit differently, but they would assist each other a hell of a lot better. And, you know, I mean, Pogba...
he'll play reasonably well in the Champions League. Mark my words, because he's playing European teams.
Oh yeah,
he'll play much better. You know what I mean? It's not like the English league where it's so physical. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Look, exactly.
Why does he play well with France? Because he plays the other European teams and he absolutely bosses it, right?
Yeah, that's right.
He likes that prestige. He's a player that likes prestige. He'll be great for all the Champions League. And that's where you can start building your 2 squads. Who plays in the Champions League? Who does the EPL?
but spot on. But then it also comes back to what we're saying, there's no depth. You need that depth to be able to get the best of the best out of your squads. But so, you know, when it comes to Pogba playing against PSG, yeah, brilliant. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Rashford, Martial, they all stand up when they play these bigger teams.
Yeah.
What's happening at the moment, but see, what's not going to help when they get to PSG on the 21st of October, if their morale is sky low,
Yeah.
down, it's not going to be good at all.
No.
Not going to be good at all.
But it's fascinating, isn't it? And you know,
Yeah, absolutely.
fascinating. But my observations, right? Why I think Arsenal and Tottenham are doing really well at the moment, and I think why they've been able to really nail things is right. Tottenham is playing a lot of Europa League football, and they're getting a lot of excellent results.
Yep, spot on.
Always playing together, right? And they just change tiny little bits, but it's basically the same team. Very fortunate they haven't had any injuries at the moment. And with the international break, hopefully that helps them out. They get a little bit more of a breather because some of them haven't got international duties, some do. But they're playing a lot together as a team. Arsenal, why we've done well is because we won the FA Cup, then we won the Shield. You will bring this winning mentality. You're playing these extra games as well. So we've played more games than a lot of the other teams. You know? And I think the international break is going to help your teams out more, like the Manchester teams, rather than us, because we're all on a roll at the moment, and having that break could stop that roll. Do you know what I mean? Because you.
Yeah. I think there's going to be a few bigger things than just that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I just think from the managerial side of it, they just have to bring everyone together. That's what they just need to do. Because, I mean, don't forget, prior to going out, this Mason Greenwood goes out to play for England. Yeah. He screws up, right? And so it all goes pear-shaped for him there. Mm-hmm. Pogba then gets COVID-19, right? It all comes in. The transfer, well, once again, it's just been an absolute shambles, full stop. You know.
As well in Greece.
Yeah, look, exactly. So you put all these things together, and that's a big recipe for disaster. And it's not reading really, really well. Now, the beautiful thing about it is, like any great supporter, well, you got to take the good with the good, the bad with the bad, and the ugly, well, go and have a scotch.
Well, look at this though. You guys should have faith. Look at what happened to Arsenal last year.
Yeah.
Had Ozil and Kolasinac. Like Kolasinac saved Ozil's life and his family when they were getting robbed at knife point, you know, and gunpoint.
Yeah.
Then there was huge issues with like when Doozy and all of these other players that they were having issues with Emery, you know, and how the cohesion was within the team. There was a stack of issues that were going on. Pepe's transfer, was that on the dodge as well? Was there administration problems? We had a whole lot of factors.
Well, I mean, look at it. Yeah. I mean, it took Man United 15 months to get rid of Lukaku. You know, it's just this is just where, you know, you need people with some balls. That's what you need. I mean, look, Southampton have put an inquiry in for Brandon Williams on loan, which I can tell you right now, Ollie ain't letting that happen.
No.
They will not let anybody out on any loan whatsoever. Yeah, it's just, you know, and that's basically it. And I think for the rest of it, well, they've just got to sit there and just, it's going to be a matter of what else is going to happen.
But I mean, the thing is, right, you have to have faith that when the going gets really, really tough, right, it only takes one thing to change and you can turn around your whole season, because we were the example of that. We were languishing like in 10th, 11th spot. Arteta comes in, sure, has a few little teething issues, right? Gets us on a cup win. Team starts feeling good, wins the trophy. Then we keep our captain. Then things happen. Now the morale of the team, sure, we haven't had the best transfer thing. We still got Gabriel in our defence, which is a great move. Really good to see a hole plugged, you know, really good. And he's been a huge, huge difference. But it took one thing, was Arteta coming into the club. A former player, a boys dude, you know, really, because he played with all these guys and won cups with them, just like a player back in the room again, creates this atmosphere of like, okay, let's do some stuff. Let's get cracking. Let's go in hard and dirty and try and see what we can do. It only took one person,
Yeah.
And it's brought the whole lot of everybody back. Sure, there's some disgruntled supporters with the transfer, but in terms of managerial, everybody loves the guy. It's phenomenal. And
God, yeah.
6 months. 6 months.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you actually have a look, Manchester United, this is funny. From October the 21st, I'm just going to run through some of the games.
Yeah.
So they got PSG. They got to play PSG twice. They got Leipzig twice. Manchester City, Chelsea, Arsenal. I know Arsenal's on January the 31st. Yeah. We are going to do that one live, my friend.
But can't wait. It's going to be great.
Absolutely.
I think it'll be a good game. We always find a way to have an entertaining game. You always seem to.
Oh yeah.
Small. You know what you need? You need Smalling back in the team. He's your best defender at the moment. This is a scary thing,
Oh yeah, I know.
But that'll be a great game. The Arsenal, we're doing that for sure. But at least though, I don't know. Hey, it really, really depends if you can play at home. I feel that the crowd is a huge factor for you guys.
Yeah.
At all of the teams at the moment, the players need to hear the crowd. Because if they hear the crowd, imagine yesterday, the crowd would have been booing and everything, and they would have felt so bad.
Mm.
They don't have that. They don't have that feeling. They don't.
No. Look, exactly right. And I think look. We're in the situation, and as I said to you from the start, Matty, it comes down to where we're going through this situation. There's no crowds there. There's probably won't be any crowds there for the rest of this season now, and you have to deal with it. And I do believe sometimes, when you look at your Aston Villas, the way they're playing, the way Everton's playing, you got 1 and 2 there, and you're thinking, but especially Aston Villa.
I told all the Aston Villa people, my friends who have subscribed to Breath of Fresh Footy, the best move they ever did was get our goalkeeper.
Yes.
Because as soon as you stop goals, when you kick goals, they mean a lot more because you can put the pressure. A Liverpool attack who was very strong only kicked 2 goals against them, and they were playing very open football. You know what I mean? Like, even though they're playing on the counter-attack, it was still a very, very open game. 9 goals in a game, that's open. But Emi Martinez, he stopped 3 goals. Easy. Because it would have been 7-5, I reckon, with that. That's a big, big coup. Best goalkeeper in the EPL.
Yep. Well, okay, here's some news. So Alex Telles has now signed a contract with Man United till June 2025.
Ooh, okay.
Right. So that will be confirmed later today. And I dare say you will see Cavani coming on a free transfer as well. So look, just those two, at least it's something there. It's probably a little bit too late, but look, Telles down back will be good.
It's a panic buy, isn't it? This is what we don't want to see without club.
I know. Yeah, I know. Because I mean, like, as they say, it's just like, what happens if Cavani is a flop?
Well, every chance, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's right. Every bloody chance in the world. But lucky it's only a 1-year contract. He can renew it. But, they'd really want to do something. They've just, as I said, comes down. It's called leadership, my friend. It's called leadership.
I'm telling you now, as an Arsenal fan, I hate it when people give David Luiz a huge, they bag the absolute crap out of him. He's such a leader on the field. Him, Willian, Aubameyang, they're absolute leaders on that field. Ceballos, they know what they're doing. And it shows why we're doing much better already this year and why we've won something. It's a huge difference. And we didn't have that at the first half of last year. And as a person who saw that and watched it, I know exactly what you're going through. And as I said, it only takes one person to change the whole thing. That's the fascinating thing.
Yeah. I mean, okay, that team, and I'm going to say it's Everton, when I look at Everton, as I said, Jamie Rodriguez, right, what that guy has done has lifted the team.
Yeah.
Has lifted. They've got more ambition. They've got the ambition to go out there and go, boom, I want it. I want it. And you know what? It's shown in their performances. And it's going to be a cracking game on the 17th when they play Liverpool.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm going to be doing that live, I think, as well with a couple of friends. I'm really, didn't I tell you at the beginning of the year, remember the very first podcast when we did our top 6, I said that they'd be in my top 6. They were my dark horse. I just knew it. I just had this feeling because they've been spending a lot of money, right? And the thing is with them, and they've spent a lot. They've had a lot of backing from like an old Arsenal person who's behind the scenes. There's going to be one time when they spend in 5 or 6 years, one time where one player will be absolutely superb, and they've got it. They didn't even spend money on James Rodriguez, though. He was a free transfer.
Yeah. I know.
It's insane. It's incredible what they've done. But
and this is why I think Gareth Bale going back to Tottenham. This is why Tottenham watch Tottenham. I can tell you right now, he's going back to where he started.
I don't want to. I
know. He's going back to, I can tell you what, that Tottenham, he's going to play phenomenally well.
That's, now, with Tottenham now getting him and they're starting to play good footy, our derby's going to be very, very fun. Isn't it? That's going to be. You have to do the watch along with me for that one too. Then, if that's because that's going to be that's going to be an utter classic. You know. What I mean?
Look, absolutely.
There's going to be fireworks. If Jack has got anything to do with it, and Bale's there with all of those players, oh man, I don't. Oh, that's going to be a rough game.
Look, 150% on that one. It's all beautiful. I mean, look, at the moment, I think when you look at everything, what's lovely to actually see so far leading into match day 5 is the fact being you look at the top 2 teams, it's Everton, but Aston Villa, it's great to see Aston Villa up there. Yeah. So Everton, Aston Villa, Leicester City, then you got Liverpool. No, and then Liverpool.
Arsenal, we're 4th at the moment.
Yeah, that's right. You're 4th, and then Liverpool's 5th. Yeah. Now, when I look at that and I go, okay, it's really the one that it just impresses the crap out of me in the moment. It is Aston Villa. Yeah. It just truly is. Everton and Aston Villa really. And it's just.
And I reckon Leeds have done a really good job. They've been able to play the big clubs and get some points, which is really phenomenal. But I'm very happy with us because normally at the start of the year, right? We lost against Liverpool, fair enough. Anfield, hard place to go. Didn't expect to win there, right? But we ended up doing all right in the Carabao Cup. But our Achilles heel, just like United's Achilles heel has been, we don't do well against the crap clubs or the minnows. And we've won 3 out of 3.
Yeah.
What a great.
Look, absolutely spot on. I think it's going to be a great game for you guys as well. In 2 weeks' time when you're up against Man City. That's going to be a cracker, and it's going to be a good challenge. I think the Man City game will give Arsenal fans more of an understanding of where you guys are actually at.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you on that one. I think if you guys, and I said that in my podcast today, actually, it's going to go either way.
Yep.
It will go either way. I reckon it'll be 3-2. I don't know which way. Toss a coin on it. I think it's going to be very close.
Yep.
I just feel that you guys just may get over this one, but it's going to be a test. This is the test. If you guys can beat Man City, Ryan, you're there. You're going to be there in the top 4.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But you know what I've liked about this year's draw for us, what's been really good is that everybody that we're playing in the EPL, we play very closely with the Carabao Cup. So for us, when we play Man City, it's only a month and a bit later we play them again. You know what I mean? Which is really, really, really good. So we already know what our opponents are like, and we don't have much difference, To play Liverpool 3 times already this year, it's only going to do good things for the club because we're playing against the best opposition really early on. And to then have to play now City twice within 2 months, playing against the best. And you get much better as a team because if something doesn't go right in the first game, you can tweak something for the second game. And Arteta seems to like that, you know?
Well, exactly. Now, here's some other news just in. Hey, this has been cool while we've been doing this. So Cavani's just also passed his medical for Man U as well.
Wow.
So that's all. That's on. So we've done this. So as we've spoken, Telles has passed his. He's got his 5-year contract with Man U, and now Cavani's just passed his for the next 12 months. With that addition that he can take on that 12 months, he will only take on that 12 months if they basically get Champions League football anyway.
Yep.
But also depends where he's at as well.
Good to see the Manchester clubs doing stuff. I mean, with City, they got Eric Dias as well earlier on, just a week ago in the transfer market. Great that they're trying to fill in that CB spot. That's something they've really needed to fill. And we'll see if he actually makes a difference. And a lot of pundits and a lot of articles that I've been reading over the last week say that particular signing will really determine how Pep goes this year, if he stays at the club, if he doesn't. Because if the centre-back spot doesn't get fixed, he has a tendency to really struggle to find the right people to be centre-backs. So whenever he inherits a club, generally the CB spot is really strong. Yep. And when they retire or finish, he struggles to find that spot. And generally, it doesn't work out. The new people, they last 12 months. Mm-hmm. And generally, he's out of the club by then. So, big signing. So,
look, and it's funny. I'm going to throw this one out. The signing for the next year, Jadon Sancho will go to Barcelona.
Okay. Yeah.
I've got no doubt on that. Man U have missed out on that. That's fine. I guarantee he's going to have a blistering year for Borussia Dortmund. He'll go across to Barcelona. I've got no doubt about that.
Yeah, and I reckon if Hossim Orr doesn't go to Arsenal, and I reckon we've missed the boat with him, he'll either be at Real Madrid or Barcelona the year after. That's my call as well. Yeah. Because they'll have the money to be able to spend. Need to actually, if you've got any cash during COVID, and a lot of these big clubs haven't actually been signing that much, and there's players that are free, this is when you need to sign them. Otherwise, they'll just go to the usual suspects. They'll either be Madrid, Bayern, Juventus, or Barcelona.
Yep, exactly. And you look at with Ronald Koeman going into Barcelona this year with all the Messi controversy, which I still say was a PR stunt anyway. Yeah. With all of that going on, I think Barca are going to come out because, look, Bayern Munich, I reckon they will win back-to-back Champions League. They are just, they're just pretty untouchable at the moment. They have been for many, many years. They're like, it's almost like an English team running out with armour on. Right? Yeah, clunk, clunk, clunk. Except they run bloody fast and they're bloody good. And no one can touch them.
They have 11 leaders on the field.
Yeah, exactly.
There's anybody in that team. It's like when Barcelona was with MSN. It was MSN, but then everybody else led. It's like the back. I love the old Barcelona teams when Messi was younger. It's like 11 on the field,
Yeah. And that's the great thing about those sides, as you said, they're all leaders. So what do leaders do? They all get together as a pack and they hunt. They're a hunting pack that get together and they just force their way down. They get rid of their opposition and they kick 8 goals on them and they walk out the next day and say, I told you so.
Yeah, I know. How scary. I know. And all we've seen with our clubs over the last 10 years, 6 goals kicked against us, 8 goals. Now Liverpool's had 7. It's what a year. What a year. What a last 10 years, And it just shows.
Oh yeah.
It just shows you why the EPL, and my co-host who sometimes goes with me, he always puts this question up to me. Why do you always keep saying the EPL is the best league in the world? And I go, This week is the reason why. This is the reason why. Any team can batter any team. And that's a sign of a really even league. That's a sign that the money has been spread evenly throughout the league, even though there's rich clubs that can spend more. The fact that the bottom clubs can still spend a bit and then match it, but not match them, they can batter them with half the amount of money that the top clubs have spent. And it's because they can get quality players. As I said, it only takes one player to change the whole morale of that club. One player.
Yep. And haven't we been speaking about this now for a while? Because it is that one player that, you look at Messi. Messi's been in Barcelona for over 20 years. Anyone that goes there, yeah, okay, they had a shocker. They got done by Bayern Munich. But hey, I tell you what, when he's on the pitch, he's a master. And when Barcelona are on song, wow, not a lot of people can stop them.
No. And yeah, go for it.
And no, but that's the beauty of it. When I remember when Cristiano Ronaldo first came to United, as this young 17-year-old, and he went and played his first game, which is a shit game, the first game he played, but he just got better and better. And then you could just see it was almost like, I want to be noticed by the world. Yeah. And that's why he went from Man U across to Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Right. Because Real Madrid, it's a show-stopping team.
Yeah.
If you want to be seen by the world, you go to Real Madrid.
Yeah.
And then after that, so finishing there, heading off to Juventus. And it's funny, he's still extremely good. Yeah. But I think, Juventus hasn't been that kind to him.
No.
It just hasn't. But that's life.
You win some, you lose some, don't you? And there's just certain clubs where you fit in and it just works.
Yeah.
And that's why I love being able to, it's not that I want to show off the team when I put that always forward banner behind me, but it just shows you when you're down and out, it takes one player to change everything. And in this case, it was two players. It was Emi Martinez and it was Aubameyang. And they were the two reasons why we won the FA Cup. Seriously. An awful season.
Then again, right, always forward. Now, let's take this an extra step, Matty.
Mm-hmm.
See, it's all a mindset. It's always a mindset. Everybody's going through what they're going through at the moment. Whether you've just lost 7-2, 6-1, or you've just been thumped for the last 14 matches.
Yep.
You know what? You keep going because, as you said, my friend, that one player can come along one day and he just lifts everybody. He's almost like a bit of a god.
Yeah.
And he will say a couple of things and he gets built into that leader.
Yep.
That leader of the club that can take them from having a bit of a shit time up to where, you know what, there is hope.
Yeah. Grinding out games.
That's the one. That's the one. You know what? Look, at the end of the day, to really finish off, Man U, they went down 6-1. Hey, guess what? That's now in the past. You got to move on with it. As you said, on the back of you, always forward.
I love it. And the beauty about our teams, sure, they might be, some of us might be struggling, but a lot of us are in the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup.
That's right.
Every chance that something happens in that cup, that's a cup game, anything can happen. And that is why the cups are important. With weeks like this, it proves my point.
Exactly right. Exactly right. Because you know what? At the end of the day, and we said it from the start, if you've got a piece of silverware and you finish that year off, you can sit down and go, you know what? We finished 5th on the ladder. We've got Europa, but hey, we won the FA Cup. So we're feeling quite proud. We won the Carabao Cup. Hey, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And you know what? Always hold your head high when whatever you get. That's it.
Absolutely. And I reckon that's the best way to finish off this segment of the Rivals. When things are going tough, remember, it only takes one thing to change.
Keep smiling. Just keep smiling, smiling.
And it just shows you, even the most professional of players have been affected during these times of COVID, and that we always have to remember to take everything during these times seriously, to stay safe, to make sure that we stop the spread of the virus, especially for our counterparts over in England and Europe. We know exactly what you're going through. We've gone through a second stage, and it's not fantastic, but it needs to be done. All we want to see is that if the soccer's there, you just play for the badge. Do what you can. Lift the morale of your supporters during that time. And that'll help lift your morale as a footballer and as a soccer player. And you'll go and do amazing things in a year where it's really, really hard. So remember, as a supporter, remember to press the subscribe button on both Breath of Fresh Footy and At the Net, because these are the best ways that we can support our teams. You know what I mean? These are the best ways that we can show our love and support for our clubs that we love to see do well. And even when they don't do well, remember to support them, because players really need that sort of support. All of us need that. And we keep going. So we've got a break. It's an international friendlies for the next 2 weeks. And we will come back next week with some really interesting content, and we'll be able to talk about all the transfers that have happened. I'm sure At the Net will do their own special, but we'll go into our ones for our specific club. How does that sound, Pete?
Matty, look, that sounds great. I reckon we do that next week. You know, we might have a bit of a chat on the EPL international players that are playing, you know, what's going on there, and talk about the transfers. Just see how your team fared up. Because you know what? The only way to do it is sit back, put it together, be your own manager out there. Hey, have an opinion. Get vibrant. Let it come from the heart and explode out, because guess what? Keeps us all going. Sport in this world, that is what's needed over anything else, my friends. Matty, It's always a pleasure, my friend.
Yeah, you stay safe, mate. Sport, arts, entertainment keeps everybody going during coronavirus. You stay safe, and also...
You too, buddy.
And also wonderful food. Not going to put that one. That one's got to be a given as well. But stay safe, and we'll see you very soon.